They had it.
All right, you say we are good to go whenever you are.
I
broke the cover though.
That's
No, they're all
okay.
like that.
Oh, are they? Oh,
Yeah, and
good.
then we'll just, when you need it, I'll just see it like that.
Yeah.
It's in so
They
tight.
said it's
Okay.
people that left. Place was like.
Are you all set?
All set whenever you are.
Okay.
I'll tell you later.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. This is the October 12th, 2022 meeting of the West Warwick Board of Canvassers is now called to order at 3:04 PM. And we'll do a roll call. Members present, Nancy LeBlanc, Vice Chair, JP Millette, voting member, Nancy Parenti, who will be filling in for Ray Lambert today as a voting member, and Paul Richards, Republican alternate. Okay. Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the September 14th, 2022 meeting. Everybody get a copy?
Yes.
Okay. And does anybody see anything that they want deleted or added? No?
No.
Okay, I'll use Ray's words. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the September 14th, 2022 meeting.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, opposed? None. Okay. And then the next on the agenda, number 4, certification of the final canvass for the November 8th, 2022 general election. Were there any problems with the canvass list? None at all? Okay.
I move we accept it.
Anybody want to read them?
I move we accept it.
You
Final
move,
canvass.
you move to, what?
Point of order,
Sure.
if I might have just a short.
Okay, yeah, just come here and,
Thank you.
Go to the-
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Oates,
afternoon.
6 Colonial Way. Beg my pardon, I'm losing it. I haven't done a walk for, with a candidate in a very long time. So I was kind of new to doing this, and I've been going through the walking list. And I have a few questions. Sarah did answer a couple of them, but I think everyone needs to know that there's, possible issues. And just so long as you know it, we have dead people that are still active voters. One gentleman, he's been dead for 8 years. One lady, she's been dead since the 60s. I went to her funeral, and she's still listed as an active voter. We have another one, my very, very dear friend. She's like a second mother to me on Washington Street. And this is all in a half a mile that I was able to, as I'm thumbing through. And they're still listed as active voters. I know that in this day and age, with the computer systems that we have and so on and so forth, when someone's deceased, the computer should already know and remove it. I mean, that's how advanced computers are. But the fact that some of these are going way back, like my dad was 3 years ago, and I didn't even look because I don't have that list for Old Carriage Road. But I'm seeing quite a few people starting at the Coventry line that have long been deceased. So that's something that, we should know about. They shouldn't be listed as an active voter.
Do you want to address that?
Sure, if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So when we remove deceased people, voters, it usually comes from the Rhode Island Health Department or the Secretary of State.
Mhm.
A lot of times people will become inactive but not removed because people are still accepting mail, not letting us know. Other times, when that does happen and someone's deceased, we can't remove them unless we get a copy of the death certificate from a family member. But usually it's the state that says they give us a list, and every morning I have people that I'm told to remove.
Thank you. The one particular gentleman, you all probably know him, had his burgers and fries, Richard Bisson, Cafe Jericho, best burgers in town.
And I can look into it, but if
But-
someone's still accepting mail or,
His daughter-in-law, since he died, every year when these papers come in, she writes deceased across the envelope and hands it right back to the mailman. She did it this past summer. And Richard's been gone for 7 or 8 years.
I usually
believe.
suggest to people, they do call me and say my loved one's passed, and I suggest that they come in with a copy of the death certificate so I can attach it to their voter registration and then remove it.
Okay, but that's a ton of work for you. One would
Yeah,
think that,
usually it's vitals that gets on top of it.
yeah, well, then maybe we have a problem with Department of Vital Statistics that should be on top of it. And maybe we could reach out through the State House and say, do your job.
Yeah.
Because if you look and wait a minute, I went to that funeral, still an active voter. People look,
And usually when you miss 2 federal elections, you automatically fall off. So
right, And
there's
that's the-
something going on. It's probably a mail issue.
correct.
Were they
And
active if they were?
But you said there was
Deceased.
one for 8 years, right?
yes,
They're not.
that
they
should have-
become inactive.
That should have been taken off, right?
long
He said
ago.
there was one for 8 years.
There's one that
should-
died in the 60s. That, as a matter of fact, Mr. Bisson, Richard's mother, they have her listed as a DOB of 1991. It's actually 1881 she was born.
So that came over transmitted from the state wrong. So
Yeah,
any issues
right.
you have, I can take them up, with the state and try to correct
Right.
it. But usually, when someone passes, they usually let us know.
Great.
Okay.
So, I just want to bring these out. I'm not pointing a finger at anybody. I know how difficult, these details can be. The other one, I got a couple of more that are a little bit more concerning. Who knows Hank's Garage? You must, Hank's over here in Arctic, right
Yeah,
across
yeah.
from Rogers Paint Store,
Yeah, all right.
200 Washington Street. We have a young lady that lives there. At 200 Washington Street.
That could,
Miss Sarah Sullivan lives there. There's no, I mean, I used to go there with my dad. We get tires changed, a little gas station, and there's a filthy little corner with a toilet with no door. That it's not an
200
apartment. It's
200 Washington Street.
200 Washington
And
Street.
you're saying that
It's a business.
is not is a business, not a residence?
Correct. I
So
double
nobody can
checked. I
live
went by.
upstairs. I know 100 Washington is the post office, correct?
Yeah,
So nobody lives upstairs at 200
no, there's
Washington?
no
There's no
upstairs.
second
Oh.
floor.
there's nothing
And so what happens is when somebody registers from an address like that, I will register them at 200 Washington Street because that's what they said.
Mhm.
We send out a confirmation letter. If it comes back, I immediately place them inactive because they might not be there because their mail came right back. If it didn't come back, then that means that they accepted it.
Well, there's nobody there. And as a matter of fact, I believe it's closed. It's now state line or statewide something.
Yeah.
But this just popped out on me when I was going through the list, doing the walk.
Where did
through
you
the-
get that list?
From the town. It's,
the
yeah,
town?
right.
Oh.
It's a walking list.
Yeah, okay.
The West Warwick detailed walking list for Ward 3. So, getting to know who your neighbors are and walking and introducing yourself. That's how I just stumbled across these. The last one I want to hit on, I hate wasting, no, it's not wasting time, but I hate taking up the time. But the last one I want to hit on, Kenneth Bristwhistle. Do we recognize him? How about Joshua M. Cooney Jr.?
What's the last name again?
Cooney, Cooney. Nobody knows them too? They live right here.
Oh, yeah, well, that's.
Oh, yeah.
This is right
Homeless
here?
people register from town hall.
What is it?
I was gonna say that, the homeless can register here.
Yes. If you don't have an address and you're living in your car or you're living at the gazebo, you use town hall as the address per the state.
Didn't know that.
That's,
Okay, so there's only two,
I guess.
which, okay, so that answers that question. The second gentleman, he lives in Warwick, from Pawtucket, but lives in Warwick, according to his Facebook profile.
And
With-
if they move and didn't tell us, it's
With the-
all,
With the CASA work that I do a lot of investigating and
Yeah.
computer stuff.
If they
It's a-
register in another town, they
That
will
city
let you
pulls their
know.
record.
Right.
They,
if
right.
he does register in Warwick or Pawtucket, they pull the record from West Warwick and with all of his history. He's
Okay,
no longer our resident,
so that answers the question about the
but we have
people that live
registered.
here.
Yep.
So that's just surprised me. And 1170 Main Street is the very first address for Main Street in this ward. On that side, it's David's ward, Ward 2. So it just, who's living at the town hall? So thank you for sharing. I had no clue.
Yeah,
that
that's
they-
per the
That's how they
state.
register.
That's per the state because they have the right to vote, so.
Yeah, understood. So that's clarification is what I was looking for. But you might want to look into that 200 Washington Street.
We will.
And hopefully somebody can reach out to the Department of Vital Statistics and maybe get them on the ball to start removing some deceased individuals off the voter list. That's all I have. Thank you so much for listening to me.
thank you. Mr.
Thank you.
Good day.
Could you please forward or leave a copy of that list?
I'll see you.
I would
as soon as you
appreciate
can.
it.
You got it. Thank you.
Just so we can investigate all that.
Perfect.
know,
Thank you.
We want to make sure that's all good.
Okay. So,
And
Again-
unfortunately, people pass away out of state.
And
They
then we
went to
don't-
go live
right.
with their daughter when they were sick and how do we know they went to Nebraska and they're still on our list? There's so many factors.
yeah,
and
sometimes
why.
they slip through somehow,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
thought that Social Security also
They work
sent
in
you.
conjunction with the
Yeah.
state, with Vitals. They all work together and every day there's deceased voters in my
Mhm.
work queue. So
Yeah.
the ones that slip through the cracks, there's a reason.
We're
I'm
aware
not
of that.
sure, in my recollection, previous to CVRS, which CVRS has been around since 2015, I think, which is the central voter registration system. Prior to that, I'm not sure that the Department of Human Services and Vital Statistics was working with the Secretary of State's office. So
Yeah.
it could have been
I
previous
was
to
just gonna say,
that.
some of the older ones are probably
Yeah.
because
Right.
we didn't have the coordination back then.
But the other thing is we do NCOAs, which I'm sure you guys are all familiar with.